Im Himmel gibt ein Bier, drum trinken wir es hier. Denn sind wir nicht mehr hier, dann trinken die anderen unser Bier. Sicher muss der Wein vom Rhein etwas Wunderbares sein.
Sicher ist am feinen Sekt etwas, was besonders schmeckt.
Sicher ist der Schnaps so scharf, dass man einen nehmen darf. Aber seid Bescheid, liebe Leute, im Himmel gibt's ein
Hey, everybody. Oktoberfest is early here. It's all about the Germans. And so, welcome to Battle Rankings Live. My name is Joe Lewis. I am here with my lovely and talented producer and wife. Say hi, Ann.
Hi, Ann.
And so, what song did you pick for us today?
It is called Im Himmel gibt's kein Bier, which translates as In Heaven There Is No Beer. And the words in English, or at least for the main section, are In heaven there is no beer, that's why we drink it here. And when we're gone from here, my friends will be drinking all the beer. So, it's definitely a German chicken song for Oktoberfest.
So it's like living in the moment.
Yes.
Live in that moment. I mean, you know what? The beer's here. We're here. Let's start drinking. I can understand that. It's kind of interesting.
It was actually sung in English by Frankie Yankovic, the Polka King.
The Polka King. Okay. Relation or no relation?
No relation to Weird Al. But they have worked together on some things.
Oh, they collaborated?
They've collaborated, yes.
Okay.
Because they both played accordion, so.
All right. Well, yeah, why don't you turn that down? Because people might think we're actually doing Oktoberfest here. You know? Hey, where's the beer garden? Anyway. So what we got going on is we are, go back to our Higma here. We are discussing D-Day Germans from the DJ book. I just want to go over our upcoming schedule. It is the September 15th, year 2020 of our Lord. We are doing D-Day Germans Part 1, and the rest of it will be next week. So there's our schedule. Stay tuned. If you like what we are doing, hit the like buttons. As the young kids say, smash that like button. I don't know how you do it with your rodent mouse, but smash it. It just sounds good. You know, it's not that you like it. So you like it so much you're smashing it. Anyway, back to this. So kind of just remind everybody how we're doing the rankings. So what we did is we put out a survey like we did with the British. We did this for the DJ Germans. We had a really good response, which the British, we had like 51, and we actually had 74 response this time, which is pretty good. Seeing that more than twice that started it and didn't finish it. So I the whole thing, the average length of time that people did it was like 3 minutes. So it's not 3 minutes of your life. Just, tell us what you think. We want to hear from you. That's what this is all about. This isn't about me. It's about you. I give, Anyway, okay. Anyway, so let's talk about how we were doing the rankings. Just a reminder: M. You give it M for that's the meta. It's broken. That's how good they are. A is a strong contender. Few weaknesses. B is good under certain opponents and situations. C is this is it's a fun list, but it'll definitely struggle. And D is like, it's a total dog. D for dog. So let me go back here. Let me bring my guest in. It's Keith Gilmore, my subject matter expert on Germans. And if you notice, we're both wearing our green shirts. And of course, mug. There you go.
Cheers.
Because it's Oktoberfest.
Where's your beer?
Yeah, it's Oktoberfest here at Battle Rankings Live. But I just want to give a little bit an update on Masters. It looks like we are finalizing. We're just in the finalizing a place. So hopefully next week I'll be able to make an announcement, and we should be all good. And that'll happen. So
Yeah, it's
that's
great
actually
news.
pretty
Joe.
exciting.
Great news.
Yeah. So of course, we're concerned about location, cleanliness and safety and whatnot, and was making sure that and on top of that, can they host a hey, Ray, you better not be downloading anything. Yeah, because it started choking a little. So we got that going on. So what, by the way, speaking of Oktoberfest and drinking, one of the ways you guys can entertain yourselves is that someone out there in the masses, in the audience, could make a drinking game. Like, for example, every time I say, no, you guys wouldn't last a half hour. Yeah. It wouldn't last a half hour. The other thing is I wanted why I'm talking to you guys. I don't know why he's doing that. Anyway, why we're since we're talking about armies, the upcoming schedules. Hey, send me your pics of your army, and I will display a montage of people's armies for that. And another thing is, remember at the end of this, we play What Did We Learn? So, by the way, it doesn't have to be serious. It could be you learn some fun, strange fact, like maybe there's no beer in heaven. Which would be kind of odd.
Yeah, it would be odd. That's kind of sad.
Yeah. Well, Keith, we're here. We're going to talk. Let's talk business and let's talk Germans, the D-Day Germans.
D-Day Germans.
So, everyone, make sure that you have your handbook, the D-Day German book. We'll be referring to this. Okay. And so this is kind of like an interactive thing. As we talk, you can look. And by the way, we show comments. So if you put a comment in there, we will show your comments. See, getting in the spirits of things. Okay. Let's go back. I'll do it this way. I want to talk about one of the things is towards the end, you can put your feedback in, and let's talk about the feedback. It was kind of all over the place, and I'll just read some of these before we go in. So you can understand the mindset of people who are answering these things. The pack front card is broken. German tanks overpriced. Another one, I feel the Germans are constantly trying to play catch up with more price efficient and effective allied opponents. Oh, this one, the 88 AA with the salt flak and pack front card is utterly broken. The one above it was broken. This one is utterly broken. And we'll be going to this one. 116th Panzer all the way.
All the way, Joe.
All the way. Panzerfaust and NG teams say Panzer Grenadiers, the best infantry in the game. Another person said, nice book, much better than the U.S. or British. And in the last comment I pulled out there was a whole bunch of comments. I didn't want to repeat, but a lot of the same things. But this one is wish the command cards would allow making platoons better. Many are whole formation companies, but it's cool to have a warrior card for just support platoon if you have a few pants left over. Pants left over? Or points left over. So anyway, so that was kind of getting you the mindset of people who were filling out the survey. So I have a picture of the support because last week, or when we were doing the British, it seemed that the goal was to get as much formation support as possible, and then wrap your formation around it. I don't think that's the same for the Germans. There's a couple things you kind of need, your scouts, and if you do the pack front, the 88s, or even the big time, the bigger 88s with the 17 gun, or the Nevs. But
yeah, I don't ever leave home without platoon of Wespies in my list. They're seem to be the perfect balance of points versus killy versus smoke. They kind of hit the sweet spot for me in there.
Is that 9 for 3? I think
9 for 3. It's enough to do the job. Oh, absolutely! It's the best point you can spend on your list, I think.
Well, but the thing is that you're not wrapping your formation around your Wespies.
No.
It's
definitely adding the missing pieces. The Germans, it's definitely about getting a strong core formation to do most of the work, and then sprinkling on the bits and pieces you need outside of that, for sure.
Okay, so which is totally different than which is totally different from. Okay, hold on. First part of the drinking game here. Let's go. Drink whenever someone says broken. Okay. So we're gonna do that. Okay. Speaking of broken, we are going to look at the command cards. So these seem to be the ones that people were bringing on up. So before we go into everything else, let's talk about these, because this will impact the discussion going forward. The first one, going from screen left to right, the first one's the pack front. So you get a bunch of, basically you can get any gun team, and the gun team can't move, but can rotate and then shoot. They are nests. Each gun is a separate independent team. Nests are always concealed and in bulletproof cover. Teams attacking a nest must re-roll successful fire powers to destroy it. And of course, nests cannot charge the contact, which makes sense to me.
Yep.
So it's basically 6 points. So you could take 88s, you could take the big 88s with the 17 gun or the 14 gun, or you could take pack 40s or anything like that, and you add 6 points and you get yourself a little bunker. I've not used it in my list, and I have used it in my list, and I got very creative about what I did with these things because they all deploy on the team at the same time, but they're independent. So you put them in different places on the table strategically. So, for example, if you're, say you're doing encounter, this is what I do. If I was doing encounter, 2 on one objective, 2 on the other objective, and I say, backing up the infantry, I say, come and get it, So it's great cover fire. I don't know, Keith, have you used the pack front?
So I've never actually used it myself, but I've faced it many times. And I think that it's pointed about right, or even maybe it's a little expensive for me. 6 points is quite a chunk. If you add it to a unit of 488s, that's not 18 points. That's 20% of your force that you're putting down that can never move. You can't go help an objective that's weaker. You can't go out and attack. You're stuck in place. It's also got a 4-up save for 88s that are in there, so they're reasonably easy to get rid of. So for me, it's in the current environment where we're facing, Churchills and Shermans and things like that. I don't think that it's necessarily a must-have for sure. I think maybe as we go forward into the new Russian books and the more heavies that come out, we're going to have to, as German players, come up with creative ways of standing up to that. That's when I think that it might become a little more worthwhile for me.
Yeah, Andrew, it's just didn't quite state it myself, but you can place the 88s far enough apart so they don't get caught in the same template with that card, which is true. That means they die alone anyway. But no, I usually try to get them close enough to support each other, but far enough so they don't get bombarded. But that's a little rough. And Jonathan, now here's the add assault flank to make them cheaper for only 14 points. Last night I was looking at that. I was kind of hesitant to bring it up because I don't know if you can. I know people have, but I need to take a look to see if that is legit. I mean,
yeah, I think it's a legit combo, Joe. At least I've seen it often enough that it would be. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. But even then, yes, it's a point cheaper per gun, but now it's hit on a 3 instead of a 4. So it's that much less survivable. So again, yes, it's cheaper, but I don't know that it's worth it still for me.
All right. So it's kind of like I played it, you haven't. There's pros and cons about it. I don't think it's broken.
Yeah, and there's certain broken, yes. But there's certain missions in the Matrix too where if you end up attacking in breakthrough, for instance, they're basically almost worthless at that point in a lot of cases. They're stuck in your deployment zone and they can't affect much of the battlefield from there.
Right. Well, let's look at the next card. The 116 Greyhound division. You use this a lot. Why don't you take it away?
Yeah, this is absolutely great. This one definitely falls into your M category. Right here, it's for -2 points per platoon. You change from a 3-up last stand to a 5-up, and your tactics rating goes from a 3-up to a 4-up. But you're getting back 2 points for every platoon that you buy in your formation. So if your formation is an HQ plus 2 Panzer Grenadier platoons plus mortars plus armored 75s plus pack 40s, that's 5 units. That's 10 points you get back. So it's almost so good it feels like cheating sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially if you're if you're playing them in defensively, you're digging in on an objective, so you're not really going to move too much. So the tactics rating doesn't really impact you that much. And by the time you get to last stand check, you've got 2 stands remaining. At that point, fail last stand is not always the worst thing. So for me, this is an auto include for me when I build Panzer Grenadier list.
Well, so how do you feel about them? Are they, what would you say?
Oh, they're broken, Joe.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna get it doesn't count unless you do it on the camera. There we go. What I'm going to do is now I'm going to talk about the 9th Panzer, which is the 1/16th Panzer. I'm going to reset you, Keith. Give me a second while I talk. I'm going to see if that helps. It's not looking like it. The 9th is pretty much similar. Your attack rating is a 4. That's the only thing that changes, and you get 1 per unit. So in the same combination, instead of 10, you get 9. It's 5 points back. Which for me is that's my recon. So the 116th, the 9th depends how you play. I guess the last stand going from a 4 to a 5 for the motivation.
It's a 3 to a 5 for last stand.
Oh, 3, right, because they got 3 to a 5. That's big, But you know what? I can roll 1s and 2s. So
yes.
All right. So now we talked about the 3 cards that kind of came up. Let me move on. So now let's talk about the formations themselves. So we're going to do half the formations today, and the other half next week. So what I'm going to do is pop out of here. And why is it not showing Keith? Hold on. Give it a second. Bring it back. Do you see the stream?
Hang on a second.
Yeah. Anyway, so
I was not on the page. Here. I'm going.
So what I'm gonna do?
Yeah, I see you moving just fine.
No, okay. I mean, you know what? It's not you. It's me. Okay, so we'll just move forward with that. That's good. So Patrick says you can see you both. Peekaboo. Let's talk about the first one on the list, which is pretty much the D-Day formation, the Beach Defense Grenadiers, which I believe in our book that hopefully everyone has. The Beach Defense is the first one there on page 18. It pretty much looks like a standard affair of Grenadiers. But these Grenadiers have, first of all, they're only confident. Their last stand's a 5, and their skill is green, which is a 5+. They're hit on 3s, so basically they're like the reject Germans that kind of threw on the wall there. But they get all the equipment. The Panzerfaust and everything else. Though who knows if they'll actually hit anything in assault. But they are dirt cheap. 4 points for 7.
Yep, that's cheap.
Yeah, I mean you could throw basically if you wanted Panthers and Tigers supporting this, you can. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that, like you said, it's a large, cheap formation. It's a good way to get a lot of bodies on the table, but they're not going to be very good. is the trade-off there. Any Germans that are hit on a 3, gives me the heebie-jeebies a little bit. They tend to die really fast. You can make the platoons quite large. You can bump them up with, with Shreks, with machine guns, but they're still going to die pretty quick under a template or a bombardment.
Yeah, because you can add 4 points, add 2 more. You can add 2 HMGs for a point each.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're at 6, and add 2 Panzerschrecks for a point each. So 8 points. You have 11 guys, which ain't too bad.
Yep.
Yeah, because I know when I played regular Germans and only having 7 stands, basically I've named them all, and they're all each precious to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very, very precious.
Yeah, because you start losing 1 or 2, it's like, yeah, not good. Yeah, it's the Americans and the British, and they seem to absorb the damage better. Anyway, so do you see anything remarkable about the formation?
It's just cheap. You can really bulk out the formation. You can take all of the things and still not use up a whole lot of your points. You'll still have plenty of points left for your Tigers, your Panthers, or whatever expensive support you want to take. But your core guys are just not going to be very good.
Okay. I am going to bring in. Well, how would you rank them?
I would rank them as a C.
Yeah, I think I would agree because I think defense would be great, but anything where you have to get out of your foxholes, I just don't see them pushing or taking anything. I think the thing about them is it allows you to take big stuff like more Tigers or Panthers or something like that you're looking for out of your support. Let's see what our the responses did. Hello. Oops, that didn't work. Try again. Oh, that's nice. Oops, that didn't work. Try again. Oh, I gotta love. It's like I said, man. We fly without a wire.
You know what, Joe? It looks like it's broken.
Oh. Yes, it's broken. Well, why don't we wait for that? Patrick says the beach defense, cheap infantry. That is true. Hold on, let me get back to us while we figure that. What is going on? Hello. Well, that's trippy. Waiting for a response. Me too. I'm waiting for a response.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make up something. Everyone said it sucked. No, I don't know. It's funny. I had everything lined up. Come on. Isn't this great? Hello. You know what? Close. Reboot. Just kidding. Hold on a second. Remove that. Stop sharing. Come on. Stupid Microsoft.
If only you knew somebody who worked in IT support, Joe.
Yeah, I know. God. They would make a lot of money or something. These computer things. I can't figure it out. What is that all about?
I'm pretty sure someday these computer things are going to take off, Joe. They're going to be everywhere.
Yeah. But, I still have my stock in abacuses. you know, yeah,
You never know.
buggy whips. Yeah, it's true.
Buggy whips.
Yeah. Well, what the heck? Well, isn't that just why is it? Anyway. Well, all right, we'll come back to that. Let's move on to Fallschirmjäger. You know, you could stall while I'm trying to figure this out. Let's move to Fallschirmjäger.
Fallschirmjägers, sure.
Which,
All
by the
right.
way, means fall from sky.
Oh,
Yeah. You know what? Those Germans, man, just putting things together. So Fallschirmjägers in your book,
Just in case their legs aren't broken.
the legs are not broken.
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 Oh, broken. Oh, you suck. All right. Fallschirmjägers, page 26 in your book. Basically, it kind of like, you know, standard German affair, you know, headquarters, you get up to 3 platoons, some machine guns, some mortars. They all seem to have the same thing. You could take a couple 8 centimeters or 8 and a 12, and then they add some type of like a Pac 40 or something like that to support. You know, it's like that seems to be the standard affair for German companies for the builds. But well, let's go ahead and talk.
So Fallschirmjägers, you get fearless for your motivation rating. You get veteran for your skill, so that's 3 up on both of those, and your hit on is 4+. You're careful. So really, it's the upgraded version of what we saw before for the beach defense. Well, the beach defense was the lowest of the low. These guys are the cream of the crop. They're the elite German infantry that you have. So your basic platoon, you can get 7 or 10 rifle teams, MG rifle teams, for 9 or 13 points.
Yeah.
So that's quite a lot more. So your 7 teams was 4 points for the beach defense. It's now 9 points for the Fallschirmjäger. Or you can go up to 13 points for 10. And then again, you can add 2 HMG teams for 2 points each, and 2 Panzerschreck teams for another 2 points each. So your platoon, you can make 14 teams strong, but that'll cost you 23 points.
That's a lot of points.
That's a lot of points, but you know, that's 14 teams on an objective that are careful, that are fearless, that are veteran skilled. You know, they're going to be really solid. But boy, do you pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course the Panzerschreck and the Panzerfaust is kind of a game changer to have in your infantry.
Yep, absolutely.
I just think that's just the I love having those things in my infantry. They're like must, because when you get an assault, you know, I think one of the cool things about the Panzerfaust is that as long as you have an infantry stand available, you always have the one, so you can attack with it. And not always time, like it's like a baton. They just keep passing it around to different people, you know. But you know, you can only use one. I don't know why. I'm still having issues with that true form thing. I don't know why. Actually, I'm going to see if I could pull it up on. Oh, well. You know what's funny?
What's that?
It's not loading in. Oh, okay. That's just silly. All right. So you know what you need. I know what you need to do. I'm doing this all on the fly here.
So yeah, the thing with your Fallschirmjägers too. So while the infantry platoons are more expensive, everything in the formation is more expensive too. So everything, even your Pak 40s, your mortars, they all get the fearless rating, and that all bumps them up by a couple of points over the price of a regular German platoon, right? So your mortars, although they hit the same when they fire, they do the same thing. They're an extra, 3 points or an extra couple of points for that fearless rating, which maybe not quite that useful.
I always look.
It can be, but you're paying 2 points for that platoon extra, which is quite a lot.
I always looked at them as here we go. There we go. There's the beach defense. I always looked at them, Fallschirmjägers, is pretty much as a standalone. The mindset is I'm going to go with Fallschirmjägers, and that's pretty much all I'm going to have. I might have some medium tank support or some, martyrs or something like that. But that's about it. They're like pretty much their own little, monster unit, and they can assault or hold. Actually, I think they're better holding. Well, back to the beachfront. A lot of people said B, and there's some A. Matter of fact, there was a couple people. Let me get this bigger here. That actually said there was a couple M's in there, which is like I think crazy because it's crazy because I don't think. Yeah. It's because I don't think you can get up and go take an objective with them. You have to rely on, some other unit to go get it. I mean, maybe you're relying on those Tigers,
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, B against, some A's, some D. It's kind of funny, the same response of D and M. Yeah, this one's kind of all over the board. I don't know. I'm just gonna do an override. I think it's a C. I'm just gonna do.
Yeah, I think it's a C for sure.
Yeah, so so I'm gonna move it over to the C, and let's see what people said about the Fallschirmjägers. The big reveal. B's. Some A's. It must be the same group that's doing the D's and M's because one says the D, and another one said an M. That kind of cancels each other out, but it looks like it's a pretty solid B, and that's where I would put it as a solid B. I think in a smaller, like that, like a, like a 60 or 70 point. I just take the Fallschirmjäger infantry and a couple of their supports and their formation, and say, okay, that's what I'm doing, and then say, okay, this is my club, and I'm gonna use it to beat you up with it and go for it. That's possible.
Yeah, and you can drop them down to the 7-team version as well. You can go with 7 teams and then add your extra teams on top of that to size it down a little bit, which is a pretty good option, I think.
So we'll call it definitely solid B. So I'll move not that you guys can see it, but I'm moving it over to the B. It's kind of interactive here. All right, let's take a look at the next one, which is actually the Fallschirmjäger Stug Company. The Stug. Oh boy, oh boy. Hey, you know what? Actually, everyone, just hold on a second. This should be interesting. That was my boss. Anyway, I'm like,
But-
dude,
but-
I'm in the middle of a broadcast here. Come on.
But Anne's right across the room, Joe. Why is she calling you?
Oh well, that's the other boss. Anyway, back to this. Oof. All right. So the Stug Company. I think this is a. It's. I think the tank companies in this book all suffer the same issue. And this is my opinion, which is the only thing in the tank company is pretty much the tanks.
Yeah.
This one just happens to have some infantry support, which makes it extremely unique. But anytime I ever played anyone running a Stug Company, because of the points, the only thing they have is the HQ, one tank, like 3 tanks and 3 tanks or something like that. And I don't know how many times I've just broken the company.
Yeah, it suffers. All German tanks suffer from being so expensive. They're good as tanks go, but they all seem to be expensive for what they do. I think that this formation is very it's unique in that, like you say, it has the infantry in there, which can help it stick around a little bit longer. The other kind of cool thing is you've got the stew in there. So you've got some in-formation artillery, that's self-propelled guns. So that's kind of good. But again, it's expensive. So it's really hard to see. I've seen it like you've seen it with just the 7 tanks on the table, or I've seen one game where somebody had, 9 on the table, 3 stews and 7 stugs. But it's just, like you say, it's too easy to break it, usually.
Yeah. I think that's it. I mean, I don't know what, I mean, it's interesting. By the way, I think the 4 cross on the tank really hurts it too.
Oh, that's a killer for me.
Yeah.
And even though they're veterans, they only assault on 4s. As SP guns instead of true tanks. So those 2 things for me make it hard to use these. The 7 front armor is good. For a medium tank, it's a good thing, but not great.
No, yeah, and I personally don't run around with Stugs. Yeah, because you can't drive them over stuff. The gun's okay. The armor's a little bit better, but they are expensive. And by the time you get done with it, even if you go, 6 points, 17, so that's 34. It's 40 points just for 7 tanks. And then you add stuff around it, but yeah, it's rough. I've broken. Matter of fact, every Stug Company I ever faced, I broke it.
Yeah.
I
I think they're definitely better as a support unit than a formation.
Right. So, I think I'd rate it as a C.
Yeah, definitely a C for me.
So let's see what the voting public has chosen. They went pretty strongly for a B.
Wow.
Yeah, with some C's and an A's. and then some D's. Yeah, I you know, can you think of an argument for a B?
I can think of very few opponents that it would be that good against, honestly, unless it was maybe an infantry force that didn't have a lot of anti-tank. But yeah, I can't see it.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it either. I just think it's just rough. I think pushing that would just be rough. And yeah, and I think I broke it with some American. Like my one time I broke it with some Americans, and it was basically, my M10s took out one set, and my plane took out the one I see.
Yeah.
Now, and that was like turn 2. And then it's like, hey, great game. You only played for 20 minutes, and you spent more time setting up. Yeah, it's unfortunately. The thing is, and some people have to think about, if I'm running this formation, guess what? I'm running like armored cars, as a second formation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let me know how that works out for you if you do that. But yeah, but people said it's a B, C, 39. I don't know. I'm going to say with us and the fact that the amount of D's, though, yeah, I'm just going to say C. Sorry, community.
Yeah, you're outvoted, community.
Yeah, I'm just not seeing it. Yeah, I think they're better as support. All right, so who is next? Oh, wow. This conversation is going to turn better. The Panzer IV Tank Company.
Is it?
No, that's sarcasm.
So, I mean, this one gives me a really hard time because I love the Panzer IV as a tank. I think it's a great model. I want it to work so badly. I want to use them. I have them all painted up. I've put them on the table a bunch, but it just struggles so badly against most things.
Well, it's on page 44 if you're following from home, and we got some other. Let me get some comments in here. There you go. Way too expensive for what they do. Hold on, he had something else in there too. A big thumbs down. Keith, I was like you. Matter of fact, in version 3, that's all I pushed was Panzer IVs. And matter of fact, I didn't even own Tigers, I just didn't have. Matter of fact, my first Tigers were the Hollywood Tigers, the objective markers, and I got them from a bunch of people I know, and I put them together, and that was my Tiger company. Okay, and it was Hollywood Tigers, and yeah, and so I just ran around Panzer IVs, and I just mopped up the place because I thought they were the best tank in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much anymore.
Not so much.
I just took them all, put them away. I said, "Sorry, Panzer IVs, maybe version 5." I hate to poo-poo on them, but they can't survive. You don't have enough of them. They're pretty much they're lumped in with everyone else on the table now. What made them special was Stormtrooper, basically move, shoot, Stormtrooper.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and that was in version 3. But now, because of the way it's done, move, shoot, you're in a bad. You could be shot back at. Hey, even if you're in cover, guess what? All of a sudden, you have enough stuff coming back at you that all of a sudden, you might have a 4 tank platoon, and all of a sudden you just lose 2. And
Yeah, and I made some notes here, Joe, as I was looking at this. So German tanks are, I've just written down, German tanks equals expensive, right? 4 of these Panzer IVs with front armor 6, side armor 3, and an AT-11 gun, right? 4
Right.
of those are 22 points. Okay. From your show last week, 4 British Shermans with a Firefly. So they're front armor 6, side armor 4. 3 of them have an AT-10 gun, and 1 has the 17-pounder. Those are 17 points for those 4 tanks.
right.
Your U.S. Shermans, you get 4 veteran U.S. Shermans with the 75 for 17 points, or you get 4 veteran 76 Shermans for the U.S. for your same 22 points. And they're front armor 7 with an AT-12 gun.
Right.
So, it's hard to compete with any of those on a straight up point for point basis. It's just tough.
Yeah, and you pretty much have the same. You have the same skills.
Yeah.
I mean, even with Stormtrooper, as soon as you move, Stormtrooper is pretty much tossed out.
Mhm.
The only way it works is if you do the German jackboot shuffle. Blitz up. Shoot off.
Yep.
Right. But the thing is that how often are you just holding a spot? It's and not with your tanks. Your tank, if I was going to do that, I might as well get the some type of AT asset like and then it's a 12 gun, for the martyrs or the Hornices. And actually here, I guess the add injury to insult, the mobile wagons can only run with the Panzer IV company. Oh no, is that the only way? And Andrew was pointing out the British Shermans only have a 4 skill rating. Yeah, I know, but you know what? That's only to blitz, and you have enough assets out there that you might not need the blitz. You could probably put enough shots down range to take out a platoon. If you go in mass. Oh, wait a minute. What? We're going to take my throat is parched break. Drink up. By the way, did I ever tell you where I got this mug from? This was actually a prize awarded from Hard Knock Games. Wolf Creek 2016. I got the second place allied for it. I don't know. It was a little trinket they were giving. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's very cool.
So, thank you, Hard Knock Games. I've used that mug many a time. All right. Anyways, so there's our drink break. All right. Let's bring it back to.
Sorry, we needed to.
I know we need to lighten it up. Panzer IV suck. Wait a minute. Oh, drinking song. Thank you, wife. We're okay. All right, so we beat enough on the Panzer IV.
Yeah, so I think the only interesting thing about this formation, as well as the mobile wagons that Andrew mentioned, you can take a platoon of Tigers or Panthers as one of your black box options. So if you wanted to mix the tanks as within your formation, this is a way to do it. But still not enough to make them good, I don't think.
I think it's only saving grace is that you can take a Panther or a Tiger with it. So you could take these expensive tanks with more expensive tanks and it's lonely on the battlefield.
Yep.
So with all that in mind, where would you rank the Panzer IV tank company?
I have them as a C.
You have them a C. Maybe I just have a bias, but I know unfortunately, there's no rank lower than D. I put him as a D. I mean, yeah, I know it's our first. My son just pointed out it's my first D ranking. Yeah, I think they suck that bad. And unfortunately, I love the pink. It's a beautiful model. It's the quintessential German tank, and I just can't put it in a tournament because it just sucks that bad. It's like I want to play with it on the table, but I just like, it just sucks that bad, especially compared to other, and the thing is that because the pricing of heavier tanks, everyone's just playing with heavier tanks. Panzer IV is like, oh, I don't know what to do with that, and it just gets wiped off the table, anyway, hold on. 10, 9, 8, 7.
You know what? It's definitely not broken, Joe.
You know what? Yeah, it's broken in the wrong way. I have a tear in my.
It's broken.
Keith, I didn't know if you know this, but there's no beer in heaven.
Oh, what?
No. There might be dogs, but there's no beer. So that's why we drink it here.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Okay. Well, you know what? Enough about our sorry opinions on the Panzer IVs. Let's see what the masses said.
What?
Wrong. Who's that guy in NPR? The just like, hey, what's the answer to this? Well, I think it's that. Wrong.
Wrong.
Oh my gosh, it's the
McCullough group or something like that.
It's the
Anyway, it'll come up.
McLaughlin,
right? Yeah, he'll ask some questions like, "Well, I think it's blue." Wrong. Anyway, so a lot of people put it as B, which is good under certain. I'm like, by the way, the D's liked it. I don't know who gave it A's.
Even if you add up the C's and D's here, there's still more B's than that. It's crazy to me. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. Well, you went C, right?
I went C.
I went D. So you know what? We'll just throw it as a C, and I'll just throw it over here. That's funny. I just tossed it off the slide I was making. Okay. Well, we're more than halfway through this list, and we're going to take a turn here and go to a card for the Half-Track Scout Company.
Half-Track Scout Company.
Yeah. The Half-Track Scout Company.
Yeah, the Half-Track Scout Company.
Yeah. Well, anyway, by the way, it has a couple half tracks.
I
think there's a Puma in there. I'm doing this off the top of my head. So it basically it has all your recon options.
Yeah. So it's got one HQ, which is a single half track, and you can have 1, 2, 3, 4. You can have 8 platoons of the SDKFZ 250 Scott Troop.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 3 half tracks in each of those. You can have 2 platoons of the SDKFZ 234 guns. So that's the AT9 with heat gun. And you can have 1 reconnaissance infantry platoon to go with it. So you've got a lot of boxes to fill with this formation. But they're not going to do much by themselves. I know I've heard many times, I can't think where, but I've heard that Recon wins games.
It does.
But I think all Recon, with this, you might struggle a little bit. I know there was a lot of excitement for this. After mid-war, we had the Recon company in mid-war that really was pretty strong. But I think the difference is in mid-war, your AT5 gun can actually kill stuff, whereas in late war, it really can't do much against anything. So, as much as I enjoy the tiny little cute 250 half tracks, it's just, I don't think it's good as a standalone formation. What it can be useful for, and what I have used it for, is a very cheap second formation to keep your support on the board if your main formation dies, because the platoons themselves are very cheap, 3 points apiece. So you can, for 10 points, you can get 3 scout platoons plus the HQ, and that's 4 platoons that are going to keep all your expensive Tigers and Panthers and Hornets and whatever else you've got on the table. So that's where I see it fits, but as a standalone formation by itself, I just don't think it cuts it.
Yeah, I think it would be one of those things that would be pretty good if we had no, there's an echo. That's interesting. Wonder where that came from. Oh, now it's gone. All right. Anyway, so echo. No, it's kind of back. Hey, okay. So let's talk about what I was thinking. I was thinking along the same lines. It would be great if you had stronger. Well, actually, hold on. If you took this, and you probably could take Panzers and Tigers. Mm-hmm. Sorry, yeah, Panthers and Tigers as your, and let them go out and do the fighting, and these guys are just kind of like in the background. And the thing is that they're probably a little bit more. Well, they're definitely more mobile than a beach defense. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. I guess you could put something together and try to find that synergy. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just don't think there's. I just don't think it's there with in this book. I think maybe another book, it might work, but I don't know about this book. Jury's still out. Since I gave you the last one, I'll go first this time. I think it'd be okay because of the formation support you could take. So I give it a B. How about you, Keith?
Yeah, I think it's somewhere between a B and a C for me. There are some cases where it might be fun. If you run up against another recon company or somebody with a ton of universal carriers on a British list, then it might do pretty well. And I think you'll have fun doing it because, who doesn't love tons of cute little half tracks running around? But I just don't think it's gonna, win too many games, especially, if you're looking for an 8-1 in the tournament. This is definitely not the list for that.
Well, let's see what the voting public said. C. And next was B. There were some A's, but boy, the A's and D's kind of cancel each other out. So I think with this,
I think C.
C.
I would go C.
So we'll just throw that down there. It's the C. All right. So with that, we're gonna let's take a look. What kind of change here? So kind of clubbed together with this book was the little pamphlet for the 21st Panzers. Keith, I know you have vast knowledge on the 21st Panzers.
I have some knowledge on the 21st Panzer.
Yeah. No, let's talk about the Panzer 21st Panzer Hotchkiss assault gun group.
Hotchkiss. Yeah, so this one I don't think is a very strong formation. You're going to be taking units of 3 is your biggest unit size of armor 2 vehicles, and you take one. You have to take one that has a Pak 40 mounted in it, and then you have to take one unit that has the 10.5 howitzer in it. So like mini Stugs and Stews, but really it's not too solid. It's pretty easy to break this. If you thought breaking a Stug company was easy, then this is infinitely easier because they're all armor 2.
Yeah. I'm not trying to wax for the past, but I have seen in version 3 people who would take this formation and just win tournaments with it because they could put so much out there because it was cheap. The glass cannons, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I think the difference in version 3 is that you were able to take 4 tank platoons.
Yeah.
Which definitely makes it a lot better.
So yeah, you're right about survivability because you take 3, you could pop, usually with Germans you can usually figure out 2 will get hit, with the massive firepower coming in, even if you're in cover. That's how I always look at it. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have 2 to get hit. Can I make the throw to bounce the shell? Which is usually no. But the thing is, you get 2 out of 3 hit, especially it's only 2s. You ain't bouncing anything. Oh yeah, good point. Andrew reminded me that Jim Gaines won nationals with the 21st Panzers when in version 3. So it was a solid version 3 list. Maybe not so much anymore in 4 because of the tank size and I think way formations work now. Because you just pop all the formation and it's gone, which is pretty much just like any other German tank company, which is like unfortunately. So what do you rank it?
This one is going to be a D for me.
A D? Oh, I was just going to go C. Because I think one could be like sly like a ninja and maybe do something with it. So let's see what the voting public had to say. And a C. Pretty much almost half said a C. Now what's just interesting is that only 61 out of the 74 voted. So well, it's probably because they probably don't have the because they probably don't have any experience with the, because you can, if you don't know anything about it, you can skip it. So about 30, exactly 30 said C, 18 said B, 8 said D, and there's a couple people out there probably thinking of days of yore, 5 responses for an A. So I'm, it's definitely between us. Well, you said D, and I said C. I'd say we throw it in the C.
Sure.
Yeah, what the heck? It seems to be a very popular place, which then leads into for tonight. Last but not least, the 21st Panzer Grenadiers. What do you have to say with your vast experience of the 21st Panzers?
So I think these guys have some interesting units that you can take in the formation. But I think your base unit, your armored Panzer Grenadier unit, is basically worse than a lot of the other Panzer Grenadier units you can take. Their half tracks are slower. They can't take any Panzer Shreks, and so they're just not really that great. Now, some of the other supporting vehicles you can take in the formation are kind of cool. Like there's one where they strapped a Pak 40 on top of an old French half track. And that's pretty cool. You can get 4 of those, so 4 armored Pak 40s. Makes a good ambush platoon. You can take schleppers, your Lorraine schleppers, in units of 2 within the formation. So that's pretty cool. And they have one unit, Rheinwerfer, if I'm pronouncing that even close to right, I don't know, but it's basically a salvo template artillery mounted on a half track. So some of those are kind of cool. I don't know that it's enough to vault it up there into the good category for me.
I think this one, since you can't do the Panzerfaust, which severely weakens the infantry, because why else are you taking German infantry, right?
Well, you can do Fausts, but no Shreks.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, even with the Shreks, the fact you only have the 1, and you have the 7 guys. Yeah, it's and the half tracks are,
Yeah, it does come with 1 half track per stand, so you do get 7 half tracks for your platoon. So there's a lot of MG fire, but they're slow. They're only 8-inch tactical move instead of 10. So it takes them a little longer to get where you need them to be.
Well, how would you rate these guys?
I think these are a C for me.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm leaning too. Well, let's see what people said. I'll pop it up here bigger for myself. Of course, it would help if I would have set that up right. There it is. Big reveal. Boom. Actually, a lot of people said B. Well, yeah, 21 B, 33% B, 30% C, and there's 29% said A.
Wow.
I know. And there's 1 M.
Huh.
And there's 3 Ds. So,
yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think between the A's and B's, I'm maybe we'll pop it up to a B. I don't know.
I guess.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm just not inspired.
I mean, this is very similar to the Panzer IVs, right? It's I just don't see it. Maybe I'm just not seeing it, but I can't see it.
Actually, so Brian chimed in here. So they said B because you can get all those powerful mobile mortars. Well, I mean, do you have the list up there?
I'm trying to. My forces wasn't behaving itself very well.
Oh no.
Let me see. Okay, now it's better. So yeah, you get 1 unit of the Rheinwerfer mortars. So 4 guns for 12 points. And they're a salvo template, 40-inch range with a 4+ firepower.
Oh.
So that seems expensive, but I guess. So Nebelwerfers are 9 points for the same salvo. These guys are self-propelled, so they can't get pinned. Takes you to 12. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, that sounds expensive versus taking a actually, what about the Schleppers?
The Schleppers, you get 2 of those for 8 points.
Just 2? You can't get 4?
You get 2 of the 15-centimeter schleppers for 8 points. Is in the core formation. You can get a unit of 4 as support,
Oh, maybe that's better.
but 2 for 8 points, 3 Westbys for 9 is much better than that. So
Right. Yeah. How much is the 4?
the 4
I
has
guess-
formation support.
Yeah,
4
16.
are you can get 3 or you can get 6.
Oh,
3 is 11 points and 6 is 22.
and it's still a 2 firepower, right?
It's a 2 firepower with no smoke.
No smoke. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Well, maybe we'll just go with what the public says and go with a B. I guess if you're the artillery, maybe that's your formation.
Yeah, I mean, if you like salvo templates, then this gets you a way to have another salvo template.
Well, there you go.
But
Well, let me pull this down.
Brian was being sarcastic, Joe.
Oh, no. Oh, well, it's hard to tell. But you know what? Actually, maybe there's something to put in there. But hey, the public, we're kind of taking that into factor. I mean, it's just not asking for people's opinion and then poo-pooing it,
Oh, yeah. I mean, I still think this one's a C for me. I don't think it's great.
Yeah. So, well, let me do this and drop that and add the what we got so far, so that everyone could see what we got going here. There we go.
You want some beer music?
Yeah, go ahead. Beer music. Why this comes up? I'm going to be humming this all day tomorrow. And I'm going to say, hey, you know what? There's no beer in heaven. And people can go, good morning. What? Yeah, I'm going to say, there's no beer in heaven. That is why we drink it here.
I guess it's the same thing for Coke Zero too.
Well, anyway, yeah, maybe there's no Coke Zero. No, there's Coke Zero in heaven. Oh, there's dispensers everywhere. It's like Holiday World, which is a amusement park here. I'm sure they got a few of these elsewhere where the soda's free, so it's part of the admission. So you can go anywhere and get soda. There's a glass, a dispensary, and drink. Of course, there's water with that too, but it's part of the admission. So there it is. Not looking so good for this D-Day book. A couple B's and a ton of C's, but maybe next week that'll turn around when we start looking at the Panzergrens, the the Recon, and Pumas, Tigers, and Panthers. But maybe things will turn for the Germans in the D-Day book. But let's do a couple things, huh? Well, we're going to get there. I think. Why you guys prep your what did we learn? If you like what we're doing, tag us here. Like us on Facebook, like us on YouTube, and we like us there, follow us there. That way when we do these things, you'll get a notice that they're coming online. Remember, we do this for you and kind of promote the hobby. That's why we're I guess I have nothing else better to do on Tuesdays. What the hell, right? So follow us. I'm planning to do this for a while for some strange reason. Hopefully these things just get better and better. But remember, if you like us, hit that like button, subscribe. Also hit the notification bell so that when we go live, you'll get notifications. Boy, I'm starting to sound like a regular YouTuber, right?
Yeah.
You know? The only thing I'm missing is like a Patreon account or something. Which, by the way, if Patreon is still around in a year, I'll be surprised. Just FYI.
Okay.
Yeah, they lost the lawsuit. They're gonna lose their ass.
Oops.
Oh yeah. Yeah, basically they have to, the people suing them, they have to pay the court costs. And they got like 10,000 people suing them. It's basically it's death by 1,000 cuts. Yeah. Anyway, it was their contract at the time. They canceled someone, and the people that were paying for the Patreon sued. Said, "Hey, yeah, I was doing this, and you cancer cultured them."
Oh.
And it says, and then the judge in California was like, they were like, well, we need to change the contract. They're like, no, that was the contract at the time that they did that, so you have to pay the court costs. And all of a sudden, it's like 1,000 people. It's like that was just talking about self-inflicted. Anyway, but so a little inside baseball on that kind of stuff. But anyway, so next week we're going to be doing the second one of this. Should be interesting. We'll actually, maybe have a Oktoberfest part 2. But anyway, let's play. What did we learn? And did you learn anything?
In heaven there is no beer.
In heaven, there is no beer. Patrick, well, what I learned today was the drinking games aren't as fun when you can't drink. Oh, because you're at work.
Oh.
Ooh.
You probably just won't be employed there.
Very long, anyway.
So, Andrew's with you. He learned that there's no in heaven there's no beer. Or anyone else learn anything?
Recon wins games.
Well, yeah, recon wins game, but a recon formation maybe not so much.
Panzer Force suck.
Oh, so Anne learned that Panzer IV suck. Yeah. But anyway, I'll drink to that.
They're broken in the wrong way.
Oh no, broken. Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, looks like you won a fan there, Ann. It says "Way to go, Ann." By the way, for those people who watch this later and you actually make it all the way through this episode, you can also type in what you learned, and it'll be added to the conversation. Andrew also learned German formations are too expensive to wrap their support around them in their loving arms. Rich Bear learned that my favorite 21st Panzer suck. Yeah, there's
They kind of do.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think they didn't make the transition. There's a couple things that just did not make the transition from 3 to 4. And a lot of other things did, which I think we'll see next week. Those maybe the way these things were arranged was arranged on purpose, because this is like a cliffhanger, and I want to see you guys come on over and watch the next episode. Make sure. Anyway, I think Keith, you got anything? By the way, thanks Keith for taking your time and supporting and being our SME, which is a subject matter expert for the Germans.
Yeah, always a pleasure, Joe.
So good.
Is he going to be back next week?
He is going to be back next
I
week.
will be back next week.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, he says he will be, but he'd be like, "Oh my God, that was awful." Brian says yes. The Germans didn't make the transition.
I don't know that I'd quite agree with that. I think some Germans didn't make the transition. I think that's a better way to say it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they all got the memo. No,
Showing up late.
showing up late. Yeah, it's like, hey, I'm here. What's going on? What? I again, like, Stormtrooper wasn't what it used to be. Anyway, it's the way it goes. But anyway, Ann, you ready to play us out?
Yeah. You want us to play beer?
Oh yeah, play the beer song. What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can finish. Yeah, I got
Okay.
a little bit more left there.
Im Himmel gibt kein Bier, drum trinken wir es hier. Denn sind wir nicht mehr hier, dann trinken wir anders unser Bier.
You know what? I think I'm understanding German now. You know?
Feines Sekt, etwas was Besonderes.
All the lasses. Come on. I think there's a bass coming in here. Do you know why there's few words?
What's that, Joe?
When you're a totally blaster, you just have to remember a few things. No. Hey, look, the second verse. Oh, there it is. Anyway, let's go ahead. We'll play it out with the song. Everyone, you take it easy. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.